Good evening. How are you? And thank you for joining. If you're joining from Facebook, how you doing over there on Facebook? Thank you. And here on YouTube, thank you for being flexible and nimble as I'm using the backup channel now, primarily because I locked myself out of the other classroom. You know, this happens, right? So until I can get access to the other classroom, we'll just be hanging out here. Let everybody know, let anybody know if you want to share this stuff out. Let's see what we can do to get the algorithms to rhythm with us again. We've had them rhythming with us in past times, right? But let's see what we can do. So, if you like the content, why don't you subscribe to this backup channel and like the videos? It helps, okay? So thank you for that. All right, so I want to talk about the Overton window. We've talked about it before, and I want to welcome anybody who's here in the chat sphere. Let's see who's here first, if you don't mind. Joseph is here. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Yes, Josephine. You know what, Josephine May, I'm just letting you know she's acting a little cuckoo. She might jump up on the back of the chair, so don't be startled. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Sean, what's up? 420 while Dragon is here. How you doing up there in Canada, Stan? Our beautiful Harlem Sentinel, Karen, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for coming by and hanging out. Hey, Isabel, hello. So nice to see you. And Shawnee, always nice to see you, Shawnee. And Kathy. Hey, Kathy in Arizona. How you doing? Hey, Flower Girl. Apothecary, Christine, hello. Oh, Angel's here checking in from the New York. Hey, Angel, love you, brother. So nice to see you. So, well, let's jump into this topic. It's a doozy, as they have been, okay? So, the thing right now is Project Veritas. If I can say that, YouTube, is it okay if I even say Project Veritas? Are they that much of a threat? It's mainly James O'Keefe, okay? So this man is fascinating to me. I haven't done a deep dive on his background, but I did come across a tiny little video that I'd like to watch with you, if you don't mind. It's just a little something. Looks like it's like him growing up. What did he look like as a kid? If you want, we could look at it. Hey, Lisa, hello, welcome, Lisa. Let's see, Lisa, hello. Oh yes, I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. Hope it's going well, right? Florida, right? Florida in the house. We love you, Florida. Hey, Golden Amethyst, welcome. And Kenna, welcome. Let's give Kenna some love from the chatmosphere. I've known Kenna for a while. We work together. She is fabulous. Kenna, thank you for coming by. So, I think Sean mentioned, yeah, there you go. That's the word that is being used, is a coup. So, is that what is happening over at Project Veritas? Are they having a coup? Now, the timing is very weird, but this is what 2023 has started out, just on a bang. Is that okay? We say bang? Yeah. So, Lori, hey Lori, nice to see you. Well, let's welcome Lori. Hey there. Yes, I'm glad I'm on too. I'm glad we can all connect again. So, all right, the word coup is being used. If you're not on the Twitters, hey Mish, hi. Welcome Mish. If you're not on the Twitters, you're not going to get this up to the minute information. Now, I would have wanted to come and do a live stream last night when I learned about what was happening to James O'Keefe, and what I just happened to go on Twitter. I don't know, a weird time. Whenever the story broke, okay, that James O'Keefe was being placed on a paid leave, some sort of paid leave. And it hit me as soon as I heard it. I was like, okay, what's going on? Because I know if you're on Twitter, you know that there are a lot of parody accounts. So you don't know am I reading a parody account? So you have to check in with reality right now. We're in such a weird time, right? So I didn't know what to think. I just tried to see how many tweets were talking about this. And apparently the narrative was they were trying to build some sort of narrative that he was a very hard person to work for. And when you hear that, you're like, okay, tell me more. He's a hard person to work for. Okay. And mainly it was a lot of, well, he's a tough person. He demands a lot from his team. And I'm thinking, okay, I pretty much thought that might be what he would be like, right? Because I mean, let's think about it. And we have probably thought about it. How do they get these stories? Because it can't be easy. And you have to really play the long game. Patience and is just a virtue in this type of journalism. So, I've heard a little bit about how these gotcha stories, they are very conditioned and massaged, and it takes some time and hopefully not many massages. I don't even want to think about what the Project Veritas people have to go through, but they are doing this for us. And we should really, really, really appreciate everything. Tina is here. Hey, Tina, you found us again. This is where we'll be hanging out, Tina. Thank you for coming by. So, yes, the timing is weird because I have to tell you, and I know you probably agree with me when I tell you that Dr. Jordan Trishtan Walker, that has to be, if not the most entertaining story that Project Veritas ever broke, but it is definitely the biggest story to date. If there is a bigger story, please fact check me in the chatmosphere. But that is what I believe personally, that the Pfizer Dr. Walker dating thing I think it is the biggest story to hit in a long time. And definitely it had the excitement and just the comedy of it all. But when you think about the implications, that's what really sets in. After you stop laughing, then you go through maybe a series of emotions, because you realize, wait a minute, this dude, he literally, okay, if I could borrow from him, he literally admitted to some of the most vile things perpetrated by a corporation, multinational corporation, against us. And he admitted it, and he was laughing, right? We saw the project. They would love us to forget about this, because I really see this as this was the Overton window for the big pharma. Okay. And that is why I see now. I don't know how many of you are aware of my trinity of truth tellers, that I don't care what you say about them, whatever little quirky things about their personality, but I consider, this is my opinion, I consider Kyrie Irving, Ye, Kanye West, formerly known, and Jaguar Wright, okay? I consider them to be brave messengers, and messengers are not perfect. That's the thing. Like, growing up spiritually, you start to realize, okay, my messengers are not going to be cookie cutout perfect people, and they never were. So, okay, do you see where I'm going with this? But what happened through those three people since last year to now, I see a big, like the Overton window just broken when it comes to the entertainment world, sports entertainment, which is one big thing. And you have also, you have sports entertainment, because all three of them pretty much threw the rock through the window there, and they shattered the illusion, and they began conversations. And that's the thing that I appreciate when I look at the balance of it. I mean, surely you could criticize a million things about anybody, but when you balance and look at it like, wow, this was amazing what they did for the conversation, to push it forward and to stop being afraid to call certain groups out, and to say everybody is on the same, like, in terms of law, there's no one above law, no group, no chosen anything. So that conversation needed to be opened up. And surely the mudslinging and the name calling, you were called an anti this and a phobe this. But after a while, the names don't even hurt you. It's like, yeah, I'm a racist. I'm a this phobe, I this phobe, and that phobe. Fine. It doesn't hurt us. So once you get past that, then you can honestly start to have some dialogue and realize, like, why was I so afraid and muzzled? Why are we as a nation muzzled? We can't say things about this group or that group. So they've muzzled us so much that now the most brave thing you can do is to say something against this culture, is to speak truth. that is now being rebellious. You know, certainly the Grammy Awards, which just, last Sunday of all things, it's on a Sunday, supposed to be the, religious day in America at least. And they had the Grammys. And this particular Grammy show ritual was it was one of the craziest, weirdest things that I didn't witness directly. I used to like to watch the Grammys, to be honest, but I only could take snippets just to create content. But there's no way I could have watched any of it for like a long period of time. I know they did a hip hop whatever honor thing, and that might have been interesting to watch. Maybe I'll watch little clips of it, but I got enough to see, Busta Rhymes doing I don't know, like he was speaking in tongues or something, or he was rapping. But I put a little clip of that in a video. So the thing that really makes this such a weird clown world is that we learned that the Grammys were sponsored by Pfizer. And it just becomes like, okay, when are the cameras going to come out? Like, when is like the candid camera guy, like, is he still like, when are the the Ashton Kutcher and all those guys, when are they coming out to tell us that, yeah, this is like clown world, we're kidding, we punked you. It feels like that. Sam Smith, yes, is about like Sam Smith. That was just so gross. Everything was just gross, but then you could go on Instagram and you'll see people that celebrated it. Like, we literally, if I could keep borrowing the wordage of Dr. Jordan, we literally live in two worlds right now. We have really done the split where some people, they look at Madonna, like go on Madonna's Instagram, okay, and just see. It's very fascinating to observe. You have people that are like, yeah, queen, yeah, I will like give up my apartment to get a ticket to your concert. These people are spending thousands. I told you the prices of these tickets. All of a sudden, all of these like concerts are just breaking out. Like, have you noticed that? Lots of concerts going on and lots of big names. And it's a lot of energy, weird energy, and just the openness of the evil now. They are doubling down. They don't care. To me, it feels aggressive. It's very aggressive now because it's like, yeah, and what are you going to do about it? Right? That's how it feels like, yeah, right in your face. They call that the externalization of the hierarchy. If you remember, like a lot of us, we studied a lot. Remember, we went down through the Todd, what was his name? Todd from the music industry. We listened to his lectures. We listened to probably Prophecy Club. A lot of you probably remember Prophecy Club and, Springmeyer, right? So some of those names, and we learned a lot of the terms, but that was one of the terms, is the externalization of the hierarchy. This is when evil can take the mask off and be just out in the open. It's not subtle anymore. It doesn't have to be subtle in this particular time frame when the veil is very thin between the physical and spiritual world. The veil is very thin, as they say. So it's about being prepared for these times. And again, like I put those three right here. Again, Kyrie Irving, Ye, formerly Kanye West, and Jaguar Wright. They, in my opinion, took rocks and they hit the Overton window. They put their cracks in it that were needed. And I feel like they've done their mission, to be honest. Like, it doesn't, like, whatever they do now is just extra. But I feel that they did a big thing for us to begin the conversations, and just the thoughts. So, they can go and, heal, because they've been in show business, entertainment. You can't imagine the things that they've experienced and seen. So, if they need to go and just get that healing and everything, that's what I would wish for them. And I'm just grateful to them for what they did. I really am. So now we look at James O'Keefe. And to me, he represents journalism that is on that same level of breaking the Overton window. And he did it for us back in, 2016, when he did the expose on Planned Parenthood. If you are new to Project Veritas work, I would say go to their website and just become familiar with some of the older work that they put in. It's very impressive. So what they did to expose the Federation of Planned Parenthood was nothing short of, it was a powerful unveiling of something so wicked that our tax dollars pay for. That's the ultimate insult, is that they have found a way to get a semblance of consent from the people, from the governed, because we pay the taxes and we have been compliant and dutiful to pay those taxes under threat, under like this terroristic control grid where they use certain people as examples to show the power of the state to punish those and to deperson any enemy. So we know of political leaders that have used the IRS as a, bullying arm. And the corruption here in America is so great. It is. I know a lot of you have a lot of pride about America, and that's fine. Me personally, I don't have that pride that I used to have. And I know that people don't like to hear that, but I got to be real. The pride is something that I don't claim pride. It's something about pride. I don't know. I just have a problem with the word. And when I look at the corruption from Washington, D.C., and I realize the tax dollars that fund the wicked things that get exported out to the world, it's unbelievable. And America is leading the way in the degradation of the world. We're leading the way. And a lot of people to this day would probably debate, and have a problem. No, no, we're the most, we bless the world. We send the most missionaries. I've heard all of that, and I used to spout all of that off. And I can't anymore. I can't. I mean, you know, this current government, it forces you to side with what we thought were like Cold War enemies, right? We start siding with like China and Russia. We're like, okay, yeah, we are wrong, right? Nord Stream, you know, Nord Stream, anybody? Like, we're out here running amok through this world realm, and we're doing bad things. And I know we got we got to support the troops, and we got this whole military, like, you can't say anything bad when you become a conservative and they want to put you in a box. You're a Republican and you have to love the military and support them and support the police, support all these without question. You got to support Israel. You got to wait a minute. Everybody quit their cult, please. Everybody quit their cult. Because, excuse me, we got to go to every line item. You don't tell me who to support. It's like a la carte. I decide. I put this thing together. You know, I'm not going to be in a box. So this thing with breaking the Overton window so we can have the uncomfortable conversations, because our nation here in America is so corrupt. It's so corrupt that the media, which is supposed to keep a check and a balance on power and help us to keep the government honest. Well, we lost that. I don't know when we had it, probably for periods of time. I know when I was in high school and I was learning, or elementary, learning about the media and the news, the power of the newspapers. And I don't know. I happen to believe that the media was different when I was growing up. It might just be my naivete, but I got to see consumer journalism. Remember, we talked about that on another live stream. Everybody grew up in some town where you have the local news, and one reporter is that person that goes out and, I gotcha, you know, the one that stands for the everyday person, the consumer, right? And so they go in. Remember, okay, I'm going to date myself, but Saturday Night Live used to be so freaking hilarious, right? Back in the day, you know, when you had, you know what I'm talking, the old guard, okay? Garrett Morris, right? Yeah, all of that, okay? Chevy Chase. I know he's not a good guy now, got all scandal, but you know what I'm saying. But they had a great cast and it was really funny. And they did this thing where it was like the undercover journalism, where they go to a toy company, and it was just a really unscrupulous toy manufacturer, and the guy was like selling bags of glass, like broken glass, as toys for kids. And the whole like parody was just so, it was so over the top and funny. But you know, it was like the guy that was like the CEO or whatever, when he goes to interview him, he's like smoking, you know, in his office, and he's lying and sweating. And that was how it used to be. I remember seeing various reports where that consumer journalist would have that CEO, that politician, whoever it was, they were not protected from the media. They had to answer questions so that the public can know. It was more transparency, right? Bag o' glass. Gilda Radner. Yeah, Rosanna, Dana. You all know the church lady. Yes, Amy, how you doing? I love the church lady. Funny stuff. Bag o' glass. Sean knows what I'm talking about. If anybody knows that, that's when Saturday Night Live was in its golden heyday. Okay, and when I think about like what James O'Keefe is doing, it kind of reminds me of Bag o' Glass. Okay, so if we could pull that, I don't know. I'm gonna look for that Bag o' Glass. Um, the name of the toy company I forget, but it was just so funny. And the guy that played the owner of the toy company, he was really funny too. I mean, they would get in the most like janky, costumes, and that just added to it all. It was just so funny. Yes, Homie the Clown. Oh yeah, loved it. Loved Eddie Murphy. Yes, no soup for you. That's right. Dan Aykroyd played him. Oh, I didn't know that it was Dan Aykroyd. He was great at playing like those grease ball, like slimy kind of. He did a great job at that. I got to look it up because I used to like all of that Saturday Night Live. It was just so, yes, Lisa, 60 Minutes used to be known for it. Yes, undercover gotcha stuff. I love that. And that's why a lot of us also loved when they did how to or catch how to catch a pred. Remember to catch a pred. Like I said, they come around, the he's got the microphone and he's coming from around the refrigerator. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing with that 6-pack of beer? Aren't you just coming to play video games with a 9-year-old? Why do you have beer and marijuana? What are you doing? What's going on, dude?" And it's like, then they run out. They always run out, and then they're rolling around on the grass, rolling around, right? That's the Chris Hansen. I This is what we need because we live in such a corrupt society. We need gotcha. We need gotcha in your face microphones. And they should not be able to be comfortable. The Blues Brothers, best stuff. I need to probably get that fired up and watch a Blues Brother. I used to love the One Take Son. You're here again. Yes, I saw you on one of those shorts. Thank you. I've missed you. Yes, but I'm just saying. Sean says when they heard that voice, they knew they were screwed. We need that because, people don't want consequences. We're at a point where people just think they could do whatever. There are no natural laws of consequences. They just feel it's a delusional, like when I used to read about the spirit of delusion, I didn't understand, but now I do. The spirit of delusion. Very, very strong right now. Yeah, Joseph, To Catch an Elite Predator should be a show. That should be. But it's like when you think about justice and you think about when you have people that the people that would show up on that show To Catch a Predator, what do you do with somebody like that? Like what do you do to rehabilitate somebody who would come in and have a date with a 9-year-old and bring beer? And these people look like everyday. A lot of them don't look like what we think of, Chester the molester looking guy with the, transitional lenses on his glasses. You know what I'm talking about? He sweats a lot, just pasty. Yuck. The typical pred look. All you have to do is look at the leader of the free world, Joe Biden. He looks like a typical creepy old pred. They have a look. But some of them, the ones that would be on Chris Hansen's show, weren't you shocked at some of them? You're like, wait a minute, dude, what? So I'm just saying, like, this is weird. But the justice that they give to people like that in prison is very honorable, I have to say. They really have it right in terms of what they do to preds in the prison justice system. Okay. I have respected that ever since I learned about it. Okay. They have it right. So back to James O'Keefe. Okay, he breaks one of the biggest stories. Okay, now I've talked about the Overton window, my trinity of Overton window smashers. Okay, so we just reviewed them. But one unlikely Overton window smasher who he didn't expect to become such a hero. He's going to become an unsung hero for what he did to expose the entire pharmaceutical just the machine of it all, how it intertwines with the government, with the regulatory, the what is it? He said a revolving door of politicians that go in. Washington, come out. They go into big pharma. They just go round and around and around. I've seen it, you guys. I heard it. I just didn't know at the time how wicked it was when I worked in big pharma. All of this is now, I'm like, oh, that's what they were doing. This was a very well calculated takeover. You talk about a coup. The big pharma, they successfully captured the regulatory agency of our government. Think about how big that is. That is why we could possibly see the man that is being credited with this humongous story that's been suppressed, of course, by the legacy media. Because all you have to do is listen to their news reports and it's all brought to you by Pfizer. You saw it. Brought to you by Pfizer. George Stephanopoulos. Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. So when you start to see how this war has been fought while you were busy, I was busy working, we were distracted, caught up in their entertainment, their bread and circus. We don't realize we're being taken over from within. The FDA used to hold the companies to the fire somewhat. I would just say now, I wouldn't know what is going on. I can't even imagine what's going on now in the industry. But Pfizer looks like they have ascended the mountain of pharmaceutical companies and they won the top pinnacle. They won the Grammy of the Farmy. They won the Farmy. They are the most decorated recipient. They are the Beyonce of big pharma. Do you get what I'm saying? They are the Beyonce of big pharma. And you have companies like Merck. You've heard of Merck. Merck would probably be like Madonna. Like they are the Madam Expiration Date. Madam Expiration. They are the old lady who doesn't know that she's an old lady and she keeps taking selfies, right? She keeps posting selfies and you're like, sis, it's time to stop. Every one of your selfies looks the same. It's the same. The red lipstick outside of your okay, I'll stop. Anyway, okay, so this is what we have right now. We have James O'Keefe. Last night, I hear that he's been placed on a paid leave of absence because the board of directors of Project Veritas, which there are two groups. You have a 501c, then you have whatever the other one is structured, but it has a board of directors. And for anybody who hasn't known this, when you form a corporation, there is a possibility, if you form the corporation in a certain way, your board of directors can vote you out of your own company. It's happened, people. It's very unbelievable. So they were trying this move after the Tristan Walker story. When I say the most explosive story. So Jordan becomes the hero we didn't need, we didn't ask for. Because he was, and I know this isn't going to go over well, but I'm going to say it any damn way. I believe Tristan Walker, MD, I believe he was a diversity and inclusion hire. I said it. I believe he did not ascend to this high position because of talent. That's my opinion. And I say that because of how he responded. First of all, for him to talk like that on a date, it's not very much in terms of character. That he's all over the place. So he's revealing this to a date, and he knows that the undercover reporters are lurking. He knew the possibility of it, and still, gave up the secrets. And he also showed, when he was caught, he showed such a lack of character. Just to, he says he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. He was trying to impress a date. So that form of honesty was like weird honesty, weird confessional moment right there. But I say that I believe he's a diversity and inclusion hire because he checks off a lot of boxes. And I started to see that in corporate America. They, at the time in the 90s, they wanted us so-called Black people to sit on we want you to come and sit on a committee. They were always begging us to go and sit on committees, and they would say, it's so we can have enough minorities, hire enough minorities. We want to just learn more. And so they're okay, they're making it weird. So you go to their little diversity meeting, and I watched it become a bait and switch. And I'll tell you why. They baited the Black people to do this because they needed to learn so they could make sure enough minorities, Black and brown and whatever people come into the company. And we represent better minority numbers, right? So you get tricked okay, I'll go and whatever. I'll go sit in their meeting and play along. But what happens, you go to a few of these meetings, these diversity and inclusion meetings, and it switches up. It is a bait and switch. They needed the black people to come in and legitimize what they were about to do, is to switch it to the LGBTQ issue, corporate issue. So that's what I observed happening in the 90s. And anybody who's from corporate America, can you tell me if you observe this too? The big push, your boss, asking you to sit in these meetings. Oh, help us. We want to make sure it's enough, minorities. So you're like, okay. And then they stop talking about that issue. And then it turns into, well, we want to make sure that people who have partners, so that's already the catchword, people who have partners, that they can get benefits for their partners. And it's not because you're shacking up or anything, because they don't care about you shacking up. It was never about that. But they started this whole partners, life partner, so you could get insurance. Your employee benefits can go to your life partner. So you're sitting in this diversity meeting and you're like, so when did it shift from the black people, y'all want to hire more black people, now it became, we want to give benefits to people who have life partners. So you're like, oh, okay. Interesting how you did that. So I'm not needed anymore at this meeting, I see, because it's not involving what you initially told me it was. So these are the kind of games that I watched being played. If you worked as long as any of us that worked in this system here in America, worked for over 30 years in this system, I have observed some shenanigans. So back to this Overton window. You have this man, James O'Keefe, who has, to me, in my opinion, far exceeded like journalism in terms of expose. I don't know a bigger expose. I'm sure you could tell me a bigger one, I'm sure. Probably some of the conspiracies. But the more I'm talking about of the time that we're in, this is like the biggest. And possibly, when they did the WikiLeaks, and you see what happens to people. I mean, look at the Julian Assange. I don't know what you feel about Julian Assange, but I'm just saying, like, telling the truth is the revolutionary thing. Madonna and people like her, she always wants to act like, and I'm going to talk about this one day coming up soon, how older women are now being, it's like they make sure they corrupt everything. So you have this push right now with the older women. I talked about MILF Manor, and they have this movie now, 80 for Brady, and they have these old women and Tom Brady, which is it's really weird. And then you have Madonna going on a world tour, and she is so gross. You have even Beyonce going on a world tour. And Madonna's the one that's the most like shocking when you look at her and you're like, it's and she thinks that she's so brave because she's always talking about sex. Everything is sex with her. And she doesn't realize that she's so disgusting, because most people don't want to think about old people and sex. It's gross, okay? And I don't care if it's not politically correct. Most people don't want to know about it. Go and do it, but don't tell me about it. I don't want to have the visual, period. But this sexualizing older women is disgusting. I've watched it, like it would pop up on my feed when I used to have Tumblr. If I posted anything about crocheting or knitting, all of a sudden it would be like pornography on my timeline. Old women pornography. I had to get rid of Tumblr. It's so weird. And then you don't realize there's so many weird subcultures. And it's just like the swamp runs so deep. But this thing with the older women, like I said, I'll talk about that at another time. But something's really, it's just very out of whack. And so I'm this culture right now with Madonna back in the headlines and doing more spells on, I don't know, can she capture the minds of young people if she doesn't steal them from Africa, right? Yeah, of course she can. But it's a strangeness that she wants to act like her talking about sex and doing sex acts with like little cookies, disgusting. And she thinks that's revolutionary. That's real that's a strong feminist. And she's going against the patriarchy, and she's really going. And it's like, no, you're not. You're actually the thing that this society celebrates. This current society celebrates degeneracy. So Madonna is the grandmother of American degeneracy. And she is acting as if she's being so, like, she's avant-garde, She's the old lady that's pushing the envelope. The envelope has been pushed. It's been shredded up. It's nothing more she can do. She did it all. And now it's just sad and tragic, just like it is with anyone who's trying to hold on to youth in such a way that it looks vampiric. And that's what she's taken on, like a crone. She's a crone, and she looks like the lady who would be in the middle of the forest that is luring children to her oven. I mean, she's creepy. And she's going, and like I said, we live in two different worlds. You'll go to her Instagram and watch all the people that are just like, oh, queen. And then you see the people who are turning away. A lot of her fans are saying, I can't, I'm getting off the crazy bus right here, Madonna. I'm not paying $1 million to come see you. I mean, just the way they are doubling down on the prices of the concert tickets. That is like it's obscene to have prices like that during an economic downturn. What better way to tell people that they don't think you are anything is to do something so, it is just so, it's out of touch. It's completely elitist. And that's who these people are. They're elitists. And what James O'Keefe is doing to expose Pfizer is so revolutionary that the videos of Dr. Jordan Tristan videos have received so many views. They have been shared so many times in spite of the censorship. And I want to let you know that I didn't realize, but I had 2 videos taken down quietly. I didn't get any notice from Google. That's strange because they normally send you an email. Anybody who knows what it's like. So I looked around and I said, wait a minute, remember the video that I played the whole thing with Jordan, and I played the woman, remember Vanessa running up the stairs? That live stream, I may be tripping, but if you go to both of the channels, the main channel and the backup channel, let me know if you can find it, because those they're gone from both channels. And that is when I played the entire Jordan, like the whole thing, the whole, like everything. It was hilarious. We were laughing so hard, right? So the only place that that I can find it is in on Facebook. So if anybody have extra memory on their devices, because I need memory, okay? I got to work something out. I need memory for my devices. So if you have memory and you can go and snatch the video off of Facebook, the one that I'm referencing, please save it so it can be somewhere. And let me know if you save it for us, okay? As a favor, please. But yes, that video is just silently gone from Google platform. All right, so it lets me know that this is the biggest story. When you have Pfizer again sponsoring the Grammys, and it's like, this is the worst Grammy, just the weirdest Grammy, like so weird. Okay, so let's see. Where do I start? Because this whole Pfizer thing, it's going to take a while to unravel a lot of what is going on with Pfizer. But I believe the takedown of Pfizer is like taking down the government. Like, it is literally taking the government down. So again, for them to target James O'Keefe when he exposed one of the biggest stories and had that much, engagement with the content, like, why get rid of him? Are you kidding? Like, that's a weird time to get rid of him. Dr. Jordan Tristan Walker, of course, he's been scrubbed from the internet. We don't know where he is, if he's still here on this realm. I can't imagine what his life is like right now. But he might be in some form of witness protection. Who knows? Where do you think Dr. Jordan Tristan Walker is right now? I know one thing, he's not on a date. He's not on a date at a pizza parlor. I know that much. He's not swiping left. But he became the most, like, if we had any semblance of normalcy, he would be the hottest thing to have a whole comedy stand-up routine. Like, he would be the whole, like, SNL. He would have followed, like, This Weekend or whatever, whenever it hit. He would have been everything, everywhere. And it's like the comedy is like built into the story. I mean, when have we seen such a, like, it was a comedy expose, crimes against humanity being laughed at. I mean, it was a picture of Jesus. It was, the ironies were just so thick with this story. You had no other choice but to laugh, like gut-busting laughter. Because what else are we going to do? Cry? I know we cry enough, right? But we got to laugh, okay? God is that good. He'll let us have a little honey with our medicine. But this country, America, this government, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything with you. My opinion. This country, you could believe the delusions if you want to, but it's going to be a lot of shaking up of things. And it's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay. But the fifth wall of illusion has really shattered for a lot of us. So let's see. What did I want to show you? You're still laughing, Juan. Thanks for coming by, Juan. Welcome. Joseph says a live parody, right? It's happening as we speak, right? It's hysterical. It's just so funny. You can't make up comedy. Like you couldn't make this up. So I'm just like, I have to stick on this, okay? So if you see me obsessing over Pfizer, just know that it is listen. I really believe that it's something I have to do, okay? If I get too obsessed, just help me reel me back in. But you're going to see probably a lot to do with this story. I'm not getting off of it. Okay. So let's see. I want to go over to, let's just talk for those that didn't know, it broke last night. Let's see about James O'Keefe. Let me go over to Twitter and just like, I'll look at, if you do hashtag Project Veritas, I'll give you the up to right now, because we could talk about the incident, but there has been some development in this story, just like anything like about Twitter is that you can see in real time changing. Just give it a minute. Okay, it's loaded. Okay, so today is the 10th. So you can see James O'Keefe. He's a character now. I'm just like liking him a lot. Okay, let me give you a bit better view here. All right. Hey, Chaz, welcome. Chaz is in the building. Hey there in the chatmosphere. Okay, so we have James O'Keefe. He is the ultimate press. That's right, bro. That's right. I need to like this, need to love it. And I'm going to retweet it right here in real time with you. Okay, so let's hear. Oh, we got to hear. Listen, Alex Jones, look, this is fair use under 1974, the 107. And listen, Alex Jones, you used my content, okay, back in with 2000 and whatever 16. You used my content without my permission, okay, on your site. So I'm going to play this right now under fair use. And look, what do you think, Alex? Is he funny about his content? But let's listen to him.
I'm calling. Once we find out, when the dust settles, we know exactly what's going on. That James O'Keefe constituted a new organization. He is the champion. To James O'Keefe, we salute you, James O'Keefe. We thank you for our family's future. We appreciate God for James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe, here's to you, my friend. You're amazing. You didn't back down. You didn't compromise. You are the maverick. You are the leader. And I'm very upset about what's going on at Project Veritas. I haven't gotten around to calling James O'Keefe since this yesterday afternoon, but the statement by the board of Veritas is very troubling. He goes and gets that giant coup, catching the Pfizer executive in all those activities. They confirm executive. Hell breaks loose. The FBI is threatening criminal charges against Veritas, and it looks like they're buckling. And if you want to know how this works, which is all incredible, it's like a documentary, though it's a film by Oliver Stone. I watched it again a few weeks ago. And it's incredible. There was like 10 Academy Awards for that. And you've got the FBI agents that work for Garrison, retired FBI agents that work in the prosecutor's office there in New Orleans, threatening other members' families, uniting them against Garrison behind his back. That's what goes on. The heat, they put incredible pressure on us. And yeah, all telling you done behind the scenes to us, but it's been horrible. But it's been your prayers, your support that's kept us on air to go through this. And I'm so committed. I don't even know how to quit. But looks like it doesn't look like it. I'm very disturbed. And James here and there on the phone. We've gone out to dinner a few times. I'm going to call him as soon as I get off air today. And he's been relieved. He's been kicked out. He's been put on paid leave. And their statements like, well, we're a bigger group than James O'Keefe. That statement tells you they are removing him. And it's in direct response to the biggest thing they ever did 2 weeks ago. You see the timing of it. It's very troublesome. And I mean, I'm surprised Veritas is still there. They have committed crimes against the deep state of doing a great job. And with O'Keefe's leadership and their whole team. And I'm sure they're about to indict a bunch of people that work there if they don't do this. They made the move, I think, with all the criminal investigations against them. So I think they blinked. This game of chicken. I mean, at a certain point of chicken, you just got to just jam down the accelerator and say, I'm ready. I'm not turning this car. You know what? The good news is if they want to go ahead as an allegory, then we take the enemy out and we go too, and the kids can be safe. I mean, that's what war is, ladies and gentlemen, is you decide, I ain't giving up and I'm not going anywhere. And O'Keefe hasn't given up and out there that I can compare to us. And I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm so great. It's James O'Keefe and Tucker Carlson. If I've got peers and I'm not that good, I'm sorry, there's not people that have done more. It's James O'Keefe and Tucker Carlson. There's a lot of other amazing people, the Steve Bannons of the world and the Jack Posobics have done incredible jobs. But when the rubber meets the road for just the massive effect on tyranny, battling for liberty, breaking thousands of stories, just fearless, out of the park work over and over again. I think for an execution, Tucker Carlson and James O'Keefe are better than me. In fact, I would see myself behind James O'Keefe, Tucker Carlson. Not in total effect. I think Tucker in total effect and execution is the best. And then for overall effect, I'm a close second. Probably over the years, he hasn't been doing this long. I've done more than Tucker Carlson because I love listeners, what we've done. But so overall, InfoWars is the biggest, the most devastating. We've hit the enemy the most. They know it. They hate us. I mean, we changed the whole world. But that's it because we've been doing it longer. But I'm an old race car driver. And when new guys get on, I see Tucker the last 6-7 years go into high gear and just win all the races. I'm like, well, that guy's, he stays on the field. It's like being a Bird in the NBA and along comes Michael Jordan. You go, well, I've been the best so far, but Michael Jordan's better. It's kind of like I've been more seasoned, so I could say I've done more. But Tucker Carlson's going to be the Michael Jordan if he keeps going. Okay, he'll be the all-time. But when it comes to execution and literally just incredible coup level stuff against tyranny, James O'Keefe is number one. Number one. I admire him. He is incredible. And he's fearless. And they tried to put him in prison repeatedly. And I'm pissed. By attacking him, I'm going to give it some time and watch what happens. But people, I think everybody knows that. What happens? But I'm calling once we find out when the dust what's going on that James O'Keefe constitute a new organization. Because to James O'Keefe, we salute you, James. Thank you for our future. We appreciate you. We thank God for James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe, here's to you, my friend. You're amazing. You didn't back down. You didn't compromise. You are the maverick. You are the leader.
All right. So that's Alex's take on it. Let me know if you can hear. Is everything good with the sound? Let me know. So, some of the more recent things, when this loads up, I want to let you know there have been some updates on. 1 minute. I'm going to have to redo this, James. Project Veritas. Okay. All right. It's not trending, which it should, but of course, it's all this weird stuff. I could play this, but I'll talk about Albert Bourla at another time. But he and his staff, they really heavy-handedly handled some Project Veritas, a woman and this guy right here. So it was very telling how they protect Bourla, like he doesn't have to talk to anybody. Okay, so here, Colin Rugg, a blue check marker. He says breaking. So this is 5 hours ago. Project Veritas board receives cease and desist demand letter from lawyers representing Project Veritas donors. The people want James O'Keefe. Okay, so that's this one account. And here is one swig, another blue check marker, an exclusive 7 hours ago. I have obtained a cease and desist demand letter to the Project Veritas board of directors by a law firm representing a large group of significant Project Veritas donors. So this right here really started to gain some traction. So this is powerful act of support for James. So if anybody has ever donated to Project Veritas and you believe that separating James O'Keefe from from Project Veritas is like, oh no, that wouldn't work. He is Project Veritas for the most part. I know it's not good to have a cult of personality, but if somebody is that integral to something that they started, the board of directors like trying to fire them is like ridiculous. So here, if you go onto Twitter and you want to see this cease and desist from Troutman Pepper, and they are in Richmond, Virginia. So this is a demand from donors to cease actions threatening Project Veritas's mission. So I won't read the whole thing, but that is. So they have the names of the members, and I've seen people go and look for the pictures of the board members that are up to these shenanigans. So this is happening in Virginia, and Virginia is a very important, it's a very important place. Let me read the conclusion. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. Okay. Can you see that okay? Is that good? Okay. So at least we'll read the conclusion. All right. We understand that the board will be meeting tomorrow and that at least at present may be intending to take further steps toward reducing Mr. O'Keefe's leadership role and authority, resulting in redirection of the mission of Project Veritas. We ask that the board immediately cease and desist from taking such steps, as they risk violating Virginia charitable solicitation and trust law, as well as the governing documents of the Project Veritas entities. We also ask that the board immediately cease using Project Veritas funds, which were solicited under Mr. OKeefe and his reputation for purposes of carrying out the organization's mission in any manner contrary to that mission. Board actions, including official actions and unofficial disclosures, which damage Mr. O'Keefe's reputation, have the further effect of negatively impacting the execution of Project Veritas's mission. Please also consider this letter a request to preserve all tangible evidence, whether held by the board or by its members, personally, including all documents related to the subject matter of this letter. Sincerely, Stephen C. Pipegrass, C.C. Ashley L. Taylor Jr., Esquire. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? That's a letter for you, right? So we're going to see how this is going to work out. Girl Code, I'm so happy you're here, sissy. Yes, the attorneys really need re-education. You know, I'm glad you said that, because I attend, I listen into some Twitter spaces, and that was exactly what, let me stop the screen. That was exactly what one of the Twitter spaces that I was listening in on, it was a bunch of attorneys from all over, and they were coming together because a lot of them have watched the Constitution just get shredded, and the rights of the people with the pandemic and what happened with that, and they can't sit by and just not do anything. So they are drafting up some big lawsuits, and a lot of lawyers are just getting, just in terms of networking, because we are going to need a lot of attorneys. If you're an attorney and you're listening, just know that if you want to get involved and start fighting on the side of good, it's a lot that we could, use in terms of good attorneys that they don't like the direction of the country. Doesn't matter what political party, but they want to see some justice for what happened to the country with the lockdowns, the mandates, and just the destruction of our economy. And just, it's horrible. So they want to get involved. So yes, they are going to need re-education. And a lot of them realize that. They're like, a lot of them are just waking up to a lot of this stuff. They didn't know that it was this bad, but it doesn't, it affects everybody. People realize, like, I can't just be in my own bubble anymore, because it's going to spill out onto, like I said, it doesn't matter how high up in the hills these people live. There is going to affect everybody. So yeah. Hey, Linda Ransom, you said I need an attorney. You can't find one. Oh, really? Are you on Twitter? Because Twitter is like the place to find a lot of people. And I would recommend, like, if you don't have Twitter, you might consider just opening an account just so you can network and find people. Because I would suggest you could find an attorney on Twitter, the kind that I'm talking about. I wish I could give you the name of that group. I kind of stumbled on this particular space, this Twitter Spaces. If anybody you don't have Twitter, okay. If anybody in the chat atmosphere knows any good lawyers, attorneys, I guess it would depend on where you are, a lot of things like that, what type of attorney. But yeah, you don't have a Twitter, but yeah, if you're willing to open a Twitter account, I'm saying it's A lot of good information being shared. It's not a perfect platform, and I know all the stuff. Elon Musk wants to put chips in people's heads. I know, but I don't care. He's not going to put a chip in my head. I don't care. I get a lot of good information off of Twitter. Like I said, I learned about what they were doing to James O'Keefe last night. So it's really, of the minute information. A lot of the journalists have to go to Twitter to find out what's happening. So yeah, it's a good thing to consider. If you don't want to, I get it. I totally understand. So anyway, it looks like Pfizer and the evil empire of Pfizer, which includes our government. So when we're saying Pfizer, we might as well say the American government. So they are the ones that are going to try to shut down what has been the horse has left the stable in terms of this story about Pfizer and the government regulatory agency of the FDA. It's too late. They can't stop this story. And the fact that Tristan Walker was so over the top, flamboyantly funny, literally and figuratively funny. It's no way that you can put a lid on this story. But they think they can. This is desperation and panic, and it's too late. The trust has been broken along with the Overton window. It's shattered beyond repair. I don't think they can ever repair the breach of trust that our healthcare, our government in just collaboration against we, the people. How can they ever get the trust back? There's no way. It has to be dissolved. Hey, Anthony Wiley, welcome. You say re-education of attorneys and judges are protocols of Nasera Jacera. Thank you for that and welcome. Thank you for joining, Anthony. Yeah, that's wonderful. The meek shall inherit the earth. So it's a lot of things happening. If you want, to keep James O'Keefe in your prayers, I'm sure he would appreciate it. And we appreciate what he's doing at Project Veritas. He says, be brave, do something brave. He's very brave. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see if I could find that little video. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll do it again because I said, talking about this again, more about it. So we will continue the conversation. We're living in times where this gross negligence is the malfeasance that the big pharma and big food and what they're doing to destroy the food. And you heard about the chicken eggs, and it's always something. And it would be delusional to think that this group is going to just say, okay, we're going to stop. Okay, we learned our lesson. We're not going to do anymore. And come on, they're going to keep on and keep on. And of course, those that are in the remnant group, okay, we know that we have to become more lawful, and we are leaning into God through Jesus Christ, through the sacrifice and the promise, the contract that a lot of us have. We now respect this contract, and we want to keep it in good. We want to be in good standing with that contract. And there are a lot of good benefits from being in that group, that remnant group. And there is a protection and safety that is in the contract, I'll say, because this is all about law. And the contract has a lot of line items, and protection is in there. And it's a supernatural protection. While things are going to be swirling and unraveling. And it's going to be tough for the ones that have been fighting against God, have been anti-Christ. You look at that Grammy, it was so anti-Christ, and they're doubling down on the evil and the hatred of Christ, because they don't hate Buddha, they don't hate Krishna, they don't hate Muhammad, they don't hate anybody but Jesus Christ. That's the one that brings the offense. That's whatever that is, the offense. That's who they rail. The heathen rails against Jesus Christ. So as my good friend Brad, my good brother, when he was visiting with us, he said a lot of good things about making sure you have the full armor in these days. And one of the pieces of armament that we can forget about is being prepared with the gospel of peace, having your feet shod with the gospel of peace. And, the peace that we know as remnant members, it's a peace that definitely does pass all understanding. And it will become more and more peaceful for the remnant as the peace of the world is going to be taken. The peace that we have known in America when we honored our contract with God as a nation, there have been times when we've had better leadership. There have been times, and we remember those times when it was not like this. When you had people in Congress and you had all kinds of groups that if the Grammys had gone on like they did last Sunday, they would have had groups that would have said, wait a minute, we are the concerned mothers of America. No, you did. They would have come with their spoons like, oh, no, you didn't put that on television. Oh, you're tripping. We're going to just they had the purse strings and they had the power. I don't know where they are now. Everybody's kind of quiet in these different spaces. I don't hear the loud noise that I used to hear when I was little. You had people that they would look at the lyrics and say, wait a minute, these lyrics are going to influence the children to be violent. And they had people that seriously would consider this as a possibility. You say that now, you're the crazy conspiracy person, right? You're the crazy mom at the PTA meeting. Shut up, sit down. As all the kids are playing, what is it, Call of Duty and all, what's the other one where they race the cars and hit people? What's it called? They're in Sin City. It's different now. So I don't know what is being said in the churches and the pulpits when you got to see just the little bit of the Grammys. Is this something that people are saying, okay, it's gone too far? I don't know. I know they're having conversations about Grand Theft Auto. That's it. Grand Theft Auto. You get points for hitting old women, and it's crazy. So it's one of those things that they are going to get what they want. They want a godless society. They're going to feel the impact of what they want. And the peace is going to leave. And they have no idea how merciful and gracious God has been to America. People are going to realize it when that peace is lifted, which it's coming. It's coming. We, the remnant, just prepare. It's just like anything. You prepare for all things. And God will show us how to prepare. We don't know how to prepare. We've never been through this. A collapse, a complete collapse. We've never been through that. So we're going to be the generation that witnesses a collapse. And seek the Lord with all your soul and heart, and He will lead each and every one of us into the way that He wants to prepare us for these times, because He will not abandon His remnant. He will not. That's a promise. So He keeps His promises and He keeps His contract. He is honorable. So are we going to be honorable? That's the biggest thing. Yeah, I haven't seen that name in a while. C. Dolores Tucker. She would have been on the backs of the... Yeah, C. Dolores Tucker. They could never shut her up, right? She always let them know that, nope, this is a line. Do not cross it. And our morality here in America, we can't look at any other nation and say that they are evil. We don't have any room as a nation with the things that we have stacked against us. And we constantly turn our back on God. The Grammys was a very public display of the condition of America. That is the condition of America. And the fact that you don't see and you don't hear a lot of protest from the people that really have influence, they're silent. That tells you everything right there. And it's not going to be something that's going to be a good thing as things start to unravel. It's not good for the ones that are against God. Their days are really going to be rough. They have no idea that they got played. They went with the wrong guy. So, anyway, we will continue to encourage each other. There's no fear on our part because we are the remnant and we are in the perfect will. And this is a contract of law and we can stand by it. So we can encourage each other, just not to fear, not to panic. That's the energy and frequency of those that are against God, basically. So they double down with it because their ego is just an ego thing and just they're shameless. They still want to be considered like idols and looked up to. It's just unreal. So I will continue to see what's going on with Project Veritas with James O'Keefe. Let's keep him in our prayers. If you could please remember, I don't know really what it is that's going on, what the cease and desist thing will do. We can only speculate on the board of directors and what their whole angle is. It's interesting to, talk about, are they being blackmailed or whatever? Who knows? Hey, Muriel. Welcome, Muriel. How are you? So nice to see you. And thank you if you joined. If you don't mind, on your way out, if you don't mind hitting the like. If you haven't subscribed, this is the backup channel. I'll be posting on this channel. I've been having fun doing some animated shorts. I've been wanting to do some animated shorts, like just to have fun with something different, creativity. And Girl Code and I are always like forever students. I always want to learn something new. And by the way, I'm going to be talking about AI and the whole chat CPT, chat CPT, the whole AI revolution and just how fast that has come on us, where it basically will put a lot of people out of jobs, like in real time. This is here. And it's really amazing how it seemed fast, but I think we thought it was just so far off because we I don't know, we our timelines are off, and we watch the Hollywood movies and they make it seem that it's so far in the future, and it's right here. So this chat CP, it's going to do some amazing things, but I want to talk about the whole AI and that kind of stuff. So we could talk about that another time. And what else? That's it for the most part. I will continue to put some shorts up. I might put a little short up tonight. I want to organize the shorts so that they can be in one little list. So I have to play around and look at how to do that. I just, I'll get around to it. And a few of you, if you've made any time for me to, again, I have good tools to connect you at this time of, tumultuous economy stuff. If you need to talk about protecting yourself, your finances, you want to set up a time, and I got our brother, you know who you are. We're going to have a time soon set up with you, and just get with me. I'm on, the social media platforms. You could just hit me up, Instagram, or, even on Twitter. You can hit me with a private message on there or whatever, and just set up some time. It's complimentary, and it's something that, like I said, I always want to connect people with good things. And a lot of it is just questions. A lot of it's just information. That's all we need is information to make better decisions for our lives. So if you want to hit me up for that, just do that, and I will connect you with some good things, some good, solutions, okay? Financial solutions, and, it's complimentary, all right? So I will look forward to catching up with you all. I don't know when I'll do another live, but I will be putting up little shorts and stuff. I do the reels on Instagool, as Paul says. Yeah, so all right, that's it for now. If I didn't get to see you in the chatmosphere, I love you all. Thank you. And I'll get to see your comments. Hey, Nikki, nice to see you. Welcome. Bye, Tina. Bye, everybody. Hey, Sissy, I'll talk to you later. Isabel, thank you. All right, so we'll have fun. We'll continue to laugh at the clown show.